Now y'all know anybody can call you a friend, but not everybody shows up. So if you're down with the fake connections, Friendship University is the place to be, to learn, to grow, to laugh and build your community. Don't wait another minute, we're about to start. Don't listen and listen, cause we're coming from the heart. Grab a brain, grab a pen, cause we're back again. With the laugh and the lesson, sit down cause class is in session.
Welcome back to another episode of the Friendship University Podcast. You know, the number one podcast for learning how to get the friendships you truly want. Welcome back another week. I am Christan for those who are returning and those who are first tuning in. And I'm joined by my beautiful, wonderful co-host, Tarrah.
Hey, guys.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Tarrah. Yay!
For Christan. She's amazing.
Thank you. Too much. But yes, we are so excited to be back here with you all another week. Tap in below if this is your first time listening to us.
Listen, we love a new subscriber.
We love a new subscriber.
Let's clap it up for the new subscribers.
Welcome. You are welcome. Yes, we're so happy that you decided to take some time to tune into our podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
And tap in if you have been a day one. Drop your ones in the chat. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and share with the three closest people to you. Okay. Yes. We are about to hop over in Friendship Court, so we'll see you soon. All right, welcome back. We are now in Friendship Court with the Honorable Judge Tarrah presiding. You may take your seats. On the docket today, Judge, we've got something interesting. The plaintiff, Sam, versus defendant, Riley, in the case of needing too much reassurance. Sam, plaintiff, and friend Riley, defendant, became close seemingly fast. After meeting at a mutual friend's party, they started texting constantly, which turned into long conversations and even voice notes. This went on for months as they got closer in friendship. Along with the constant communication, they frequently hung out, going out to eat, watching Netflix at each other's houses, and even joining a kickboxing class together. During this time, Sam, the plaintiff, was looking for a different job and would often mention they better enjoy this free time before they start back working. Recently, Sam, the plaintiff, schedules changed. After getting a new job, which Riley, the defendant, knew could always happen, as she was informed Sam, the plaintiff, was actively looking for another job, Sam, the plaintiff, seemed to have higher demands, more meetings, longer hours, etc. Sam, the plaintiff, seemed to have slowed down their replies. They started coming hours later and sometimes days not at all. Sam, plaintiff, was finding it hard to juggle their new job and all of their life's responsibilities. After a few weeks of this and a few "Are we good?" texts from Riley, the defendant, Sam, plaintiff, sent a message to Riley, the defendant, asking if they could go for coffee and talk. Upon meeting, Sam, plaintiff, apologized for the recent distance, explained their difficulty in finding balance, but assured Riley, the defendant, that they wanted to continue being friends and that even though they couldn't hang out as much before, they would make time. Over the next few weeks, Riley, the defendant, continued to text and call Sam, the plaintiff, just as much as before. Sam, plaintiff, would respond as often as possible, but sometimes in the hours it would take, Riley, defendant, would send snappy remarks like, "You didn't see my text," or even leave long, unwarranted voicemails. The last straw was when Riley, defendant, sent Sam, plaintiff, a message saying, quote, "When someone matters, they make time," even just a sentence. Sam, plaintiff, doesn't know what to do. To them, it seemed like a really cool friendship that they felt could be long-lasting, but now it just seems like nothing they do is good enough. So in the case of Sam versus Riley on the charge of needing too much assurance, how do you find a defendant? And following your ruling, please give your sentence.
What an interesting case, and I'm really going to have to think long and hard about this one. Long and hard. All right. With the case of Sam versus Riley, I really believe that Sam, the plaintiff, has taken the necessary steps to preserve their relationship and the power of their friendship. In the beginning, Sam did let Riley know our jobs, our time is going to change once I begin working. And they agreed that that was a true statement. Once Sam got employment, which we need to pay our bills, is necessary, Riley should have had an expectation of some coming change and provided some grace to the friendship, as this was a time of transition for both of them. But instead, Riley continued to have the same level of expectation from Sam that they did prior. That, in my opinion, was unfair. Riley continued that even though Sam had a conversation with them about the changes and the pressure they were under to show up in every place and still be present for their friendship, Riley continued to not be understanding and give grace. And because of these things, and even become snappy. Ooh. We don't like snappiness over here at Friendship Court. Because Riley did not provide understanding, grace, and just altogether, I feel you. I will have to judge and rule in the favor of Sam, the plaintiff. Riley, you need too much reassurance, and you're not being considerate of others, only your needs. So I hereby sentence you to have a one-on-one conversation in the mirror first, and have some self-awareness about how you're showing up in your friendship. Then I recommend you watch this episode on anxious attachment and needing too much assurance in your relationship. And finally, I sentence you to an apology to your friend Sam, who seems to be very present in your relationship and just wants to be a good friend to you. But you're asking for too much and you're not being considerate of other people. And that's my final ruling.
Riley, it sounds like you've been sentenced to look at the man in the mirror, or woman. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And don't let us catch you back here at Friendship Court. Court is adjourned. Now it's time to take out the trash. Take out the trash.
Take out the trash.
Take out the trash right now. Take out the trash. Take out the trash. Woo!
Take out the trash right now.
Yeah.
The part of class where we talk about the real life things we've done to clean up the messes in our own lives.
Ooh, I've got a goodie for you today. These are things. Let me start off by saying this.
Start them off.
These are things we have really tried, really tested, really proved that really helped us in our lives. So my first introduction to attachment theory, if you haven't watched our last episode, mm-hmm. You got introduced to it if you didn't already know about it. But it wasn't my first introduction because I studied sociology and mm-hmm. psychology, and that was my major in college and in my master's program and all that type of stuff. So that's not my first introduction, but to actually apply it to my own life, not just studying it as like, oh, this is for people who need these things when they need help. No, to use it for my own life was this resource right here. When my life was in shambles. Let's just establish that.
When you be in shambles, you go searching.
Baby.
Where's the answer?
I need an answer and I need it right now. Now I said.
Period.
I don't care what it costs. Buy all the books and classes and courses. And, you know, some people, that's how they handle crisis, other people handle it. Me being the student and the teacher and the educator, coming from that, I look for truth. Like, there must be an answer, right? And so while I was on my journey to find truth, why do I keep having the same experience in my relationships? There's a common denominator here, and it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
It's me. Hi.
I'm the problem.
It's me.
So it's a book called How We Love, and they have resources, they have tests, they have quizzes, they have workbooks, but they're all based on a popular relationship based upon attachment theory. And this book is a popular relationship model by Milan and Kay Yerkovich that explains how childhood experiences create intimacy imprints, love styles, affecting adult relationships. And it helps people understand their patterns in life, in their adult relationships. So it looks at, okay, which is what attachment theory does. It looks at how you were loved as a child and how it affected you and imprinted you and led you to show up a certain way in your adult relationships. And so its goal is to heal wounds, to break negative cycles, and build secure connections, moving toward becoming secure connectors. And what is a secure connector? A secure connector is someone who can connect and build relationships with others based on open communication, trust, mutual respect, emotional availability, balanced independence, and seeking comfort and support while comfortably allowing others to depend on them, resolving conflicts constructively, and setting healthy boundaries. So basically a secure connector, they can emote, they can be available, they can allow people to come into their lives, but they also have boundaries for those people. They're healthy, and they also are able to be a part of other people's life without making them the center of their whole world and all that. So they can love from a very secure, whole place. And that's the goal for all of us, to become people who love from a secure, whole place. And my first introduction to them was through their books, their main book entitled How We Love. And I was able to take a quiz on their website and figure out what kind of person I was, or what kind of pattern I had. And then it lists all the different ways that you show up in relationship based on your patterns. And even what I thought was impeccable, because at the time I was in a relationship, and so it even shows how the cycle of behavior with the other person's pattern. So they're able to take the quiz as well. And let's say that one's an avoider and one is a pleaser, you're able to see how that plays out.
Kind of like the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah, so there's a whole chapter in the book for avoiders and pleasers, right? And let's say it's two avoiders, how that looks in real time. So that was really educational and informative. So why do we want to know the pattern? So we can change the pattern if the pattern is bad. Like, who wants to continue to experience the same thing when you don't have to? You can change it. And so they have things especially for couples. They have it for singles. They have books on that you can listen to. They are online. They also even have like live events. So I really, seeing this in my life is one of the reasons why we're having these conversations right now, because I was able to see, like, okay, this is some of the patterns you're exhibiting. You're going to have to continue to be aware and work through it. How are you showing up? And to be honest, it's only so much work you can do on your own, just studying and working on your patterns and to break them. It really is only going to show when you get in relationship with people, when you have friendship and you start allowing people to be close to you, close enough to trigger you. Yeah. Because if you didn't care about them, they really wouldn't trigger you that much. It only can trigger you if you actually care what the other person thinks and how, so that to me super powerful. Again, the book is How We Love, and you can find more information at howwelove.com, and you can find more information, see the workbooks and quizzes, all that type of stuff.
Awesome. It should probably be at your local bookstore. If not, you all know where to find it online. But I love that. I have not had the pleasure of reading that book, but I think I might add it to my repertoire.
Let's do it.
For sure. So we're going to take a break, and we'll see you back in class.
Class is in session.
Have you ever sent a text and immediately started overthinking?
You wonder, did I say too much or not enough? Wait, are they mad at me?
So you replay the last interaction in your head looking for any signs? Because connection doesn't feel secure.
Let's talk about anxious attachment and how it affects our friendships.
So if you tuned in with us last week, we started talking about attachment styles, and we had a great conversation. You can head over to that last episode to see what we had to say about it. So we're continuing that conversation today and going into another type of attachment style, which is anxious attachment. Let's talk about what anxious attachment is first, and then we'll kind of get into our conversation. Anxious attachment is when closeness feels necessary but uncertain. It's rooted in the fear of losing connection. People with anxious patterns often learned early on that they have to stay alert, have to try harder to stay close, things like that. So their relationships can start to feel really emotionally intense.
Yeah, and like we talked about before, attachment styles and are tools, okay? Not identities. They're not labels. They're not meant to put you in a box and tell you who you are. They are just meant to help us understand our patterns of behavior. They do not in any way define who you are as an individual. Period. You are not too much. You're just someone whose nervous system learned to stay on high alert when you were a kid, right? And all of that can change. It can be rewired and retrained.
Yeah, so let's look at how an anxious attachment style can show up in friendships and relationships. Maybe you can see if you can put this into your own friendships and relationships. It can look like overanalyzing tone or response time, seeking constant reassurance, feeling anxious when people pull back, and prioritizing others' needs over your own. So you may give a lot. You may feel like you have a lot of connection because you're always there for someone, or you're always showing up whenever someone needs a helping hand, but you still feel unsure of where you stand with this individual. So you could even talk to this person quite often and still wonder, what do I mean to them?
And anxious attachment often comes from inconsistency. When you're growing up, and when your connection felt unpredictable in the past. You try to secure it through like constant closeness and communication and caretaking. So but instead of feeling safer, you end up overperforming, overfunctioning, and feeling just exhausted and burned out.
Man, talk about it.
So the main caretaker in the relationship is usually not secure. Okay. I just want to remind you, like, this, we can change, and we can transform our thinking. Even in the Bible, in Romans 12:22, it says, "Do not copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but be transformed by the into a new person by changing the way you think." This is the NLT version. "Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." And so God says, listen, I'm able to transform you, but how I'm going to do that is changing the way you think. And so this behavior, this constant need for reassurance, constant insecurity, unsure of yourself, is rooted in fear. And God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And so, and that's 2 Timothy 1:7. We say that verse all the time, right? And so the core fear of anxious attachment, there's a core fear here. Okay, if you deal with anxious attachment, guilty. But if you have dealt with with anxious attachment, the fear was, I will be abandoned or emotionally left. Right? And so at the deepest level, anxious attachment isn't about being clingy or needy. It's about having a fear of losing connection with someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do we break the cycle, essentially, and change the patterns? You start with building internal safety first. Self-awareness, self. Me, myself, and I. Okay? I know she said that's all I got in the end. It's really actually all I got because I got Jesus. But you do have to start with self. So before reaching outward, pause and self-reflect. You can ask things like, what am I feeling right now? What do I need in this moment? And then you acknowledge the core wound of fear and tell the truth instead. So we talked a lot about emotions and feelings and how feelings are present and they're there for a reason, but they are not fact. So you have to address the fact. You deal with the root of the feeling, but you are addressing it with fact. So tell the truth instead. Even if they decide to leave, I am safe, loved, and whole. So we have said it and we'll continue to say it. Life will happen, and you will have said a
Life. It's gonna life.
And so there are going to be moments where you're going to have conflict, where you're going to have to encounter hard things. And we're all about the truth of the matter is they don't always go the way you want to.
Oh, that's so good.
Sometimes people will leave.
Can I add to that? Lifing, what we're saying is we cannot control what happens to us all the time. Life is going to life. There are so many things that we cannot control. But what we can control is ourselves and our responses.
Yep, exactly.
That's what we're saying.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for that, because you cannot control, even down to the people who seem like they have it all together and every piece of their life is accounted for. There are still things that happen that you just have no control over.
No control.
And so you
did your best, did everything you could, and it still didn't turn out how you wanted it to.
What happens when you do your best and it still doesn't turn out the way that you want it to? Because baby, that could be devastating. So you have to have real life tools and to apply for application for your life, so that you can handle it when life do be lifing. Okay, because you don't gotta get beat down. Okay, this don't have to be a jumping. You don't have to let life jump you. Okay, you can fight back.
Bing, bing, bing. You can fight back. Fight back. How do we fight back?
Get up. Fight back.
Stand up.
Yes. And the way that we do that, because this is a faith-based podcast, we're believers. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that Jesus has saved my life and changed me. You have to pray, reject, and rebuke the fear.
Yes.
Rebuke the lie.
Yes.
Start telling yourself that is a lie.
Yes.
And tell yourself the truth.
Yes.
I am loved. I am whole. I am worthy of assurance. I am worthy of being in relationship with. If they leave me, it was not the end of my story.
Yes.
Will it cause a little bit of pain? Perhaps. But I will be okay. I will get up and I will keep trucking. So renewed thinking and emotional regulation within yourself are key tools to be able to combat an anxious attachment.
Okay. And so Tarrah, how does this work? Christan, how does this work in real time? Like, if I struggle with feeling anxious when I'm out of the loop or feel disconnected from someone, yes, after I rebuke the fear, after I, reject the lie, what do I do in real relationship? If I feel like maybe the person you're dealing with is kind of avoidant and they actually are retreating from you. So what can you do? Instead of hinting or hoping they will notice, why don't you have some direct communication. You can try something like, hey, I'm feeling a little disconnected. I just wanted to check in. Is everything okay? Are you okay? You know, and clearly communicating reduces anxiety. Maybe they're retreating, but it has nothing to do with you. And when you have that conversation, they're like, man, actually, I'm just going through a lot at work. You know, work has doubled and I don't really know how to handle it. My boss is on my back and I've been kind of retreating to myself, trying to figure out how to handle it. And it's like, oh, wow. Well, is there anything I can do to support you in that? And, you know, that's an opportunity for connection and conversation and support when we have the conversation that we need to have when we communicate.
I love that. And I love that, you know, when you start with the truth and you communicate it, this next step, you can separate yourself from it. You can separate yourself from the response time. You can separate yourself from what is happening with the other individual. I ain't gonna hold you. I never think it's me. When people like texting me back or calling me back, I'm like, I mean, unless the Lord is like, hey, you did something in offense, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'd be like, they clearly busy, something going on, like they, if you know what I'm saying, you touched on it. Sometimes people do retreat. Sometimes people are, you know, doing things intentionally, you know, dangling the carrot, giving you a little bit, pulling back, giving you a little bit, pulling back. Everybody got their own. You can use discernment to figure that out. But with my long-standing relationships and everything, you ain't texting me back. Okay, you're busy.
Okay.
Like, we'll talk.
Yeah.
It'll reach out soon.
Absolutely. So
someone needing space doesn't mean you did something wrong. That's another great thing.
So good.
Like, often we have to talk about it's not rejection, and we have to talk about our other mutual friend that we had, who I actually had to have a conversation with and be like, listen, me needing spaces has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I gotta just retreat and get myself together.
Yeah.
So distance isn't always rejection, and then you can just let the silence be neutral. Like you don't have to create a story. Woo! It can just be silence.
Well, Dale felt that. He felt that in his toe. He felt that right here.
When really and truthfully, if I go back,
you don't have to create a story. Run that back.
You don't have to create a story. Oftentimes, like I said before, I don't often think it's me. I really never truly think anything. I'm like, okay, I'll hear from them eventually.
Yes, you do not have to create a story. That is so good. And this is for my performers that want to be loved, that want to show up, that they need space, but you decide that you should give more. This is your moment. Ask yourself, okay, am I showing up because I want to, or because I'm afraid?
Woo!
I'm afraid of losing connection. I'm afraid they'll move on. I'm afraid they're talking to someone else. I'm afraid they'll find a new best friend. I'm afraid they're closer to the other friend than me. So let me perform to show them I'm worthy of love.
Man,
it's not about earning love or performing. Okay, that's not what a relationship is about. Friendship is about. It's about loving as a decision. It's your decision to love them, and it's not about transactions.
I love that, because we think you don't have a choice in love.
You do.
You do.
You do.
You do. You truly do. So you don't have to, even with family, you know, you could be experiencing this, like, if I don't do this for them, they're not going to talk to me anymore. If I don't do what they want me to do,
that's a whole
they're going to cut me. They're going to cut me off. I'm going to be excommunicated. I'm going to be isolated. They're going to ice me out.
Let's think that through. If they do that, then what? What happens?
What happens? Let's take it a step back. If I do what they want, what happens to me?
Ooh!
If I don't do what they want, what still happens to me? It's still going to be choice. There's two choices, but it's still about you. So let's say I do what they want, and I didn't want to. I did something I didn't want to do. I'm feeling bad about it. I have all these unresolved, unaddressed issues. If I decide I don't do it for my own peace, maybe I do get iced out. Maybe they do excommunicate me for a moment, but I have peace. I made a decision for myself that I can sleep with well at night because I know I did what I needed to do to protect myself and my peace.
And what did that do for you? It made you more resilient.
It made you more resilient.
Now it created a memory that I don't have to bow and perform to be loved. And even if someone threatens to take away that love, that experience of love from me, I will survive. I will be okay. I will be whole. I will remain safe.
Right.
And what does that do for you? It builds that confidence. It builds that new pathway in your mind that says, I don't have to be controlled by people's ideas of me or opinions of me and be this anxious person and perform to be accepted.
Exactly. You don't have to tap dance. Nobody's shooting at your feet. Like, it's okay. Like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my lifetime guy. Like, no. And we're not saying
love me.
Right. And we're not saying you don't show up for people and you're not there. And sometimes you do things.
But what it's about is the motive.
It's the motive.
Why?
Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? So they can love. Why do you plan all the group events? Do you do it because you really want to, or you do it because if you don't, you'll never see them?
I love that. You know what it makes me think of? We love the 90s and the early 2000s. It makes me think of Girlfriends when Joan's house stopped being the go-to hangout house. And the other friend in the friend group bought a house, and now everybody was over there, and she started to feel like, well, people didn't want to hang out with her anymore, and now she doesn't have a purpose in the friend group because nobody's coming over there. And it's like, no, we're just the space transition, but we still love you.
Yes,
we still want to hang out with you. We still want your presence and you as an individual. Just because you had the house for a long time and was doing all the hosting and all the cooking and footing the bill and all of these things doesn't change the fact that we care about you as an individual. You were doing that because you created a narrative thinking that I don't have a space in this group if I don't do XYZ.
I can't be loved without performing.
Yep.
Oof.
That's a
I'm
tough
not
one.
worthy of love. My friends won't love me if I don't pay for everything.
Woo!
My friends won't love me if I am not the one that is organizing everything.
Yeah.
If I am not, the one that doesn't have any needs. Like, these relationships should not be transactional. That's not love. That is just...
It's transaction.
It's
business.
It reminds me when Jesus said, love your enemies. And it was like, wait. Now you've gone too far.
Hold on.
It was just like, if you love people who love you, what is that?
What is that? What does that prove? If you can love somebody who loves you?
That's transaction.
Yeah.
But when he says love your enemies, he's saying, hey, love people who don't do all the right things all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what God requires for us is to love. He said, love God with all your heart, with all your mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. God is calling us to the carpet and say, hey, love yourself.
Because how can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself?
You don't feed yourself.
And that boils down to what does love mean to you?
Yes.
What does it look like?
Yes.
Does it look transactional?
Yes.
Because like we said, maybe when you were younger, in order to feel like you got attention or love, you had to bring home good grades. Or you had to be the star people. You had to do XYZ. Or to have friends in school, you always had to do whatever they wanted to do. Like,
you had to stuff who you really were down to perform for other people. Exactly.
And now it's showing up in your older years in the way that you are
exhausted. You're over for performing. You're over functioning.
Overextended.
It's like, why doesn't anybody ever want to do what, make sacrifices for me? You don't let them.
You don't let them.
You don't ask them to. You just you're the lamb. You just sacrifice yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And you're unhappy in your relationships, and you're creating imbalanced relationships because you're overfunctioning, you're overdoing, you're asking for so much from people, and most people cannot give you that level. They just can't, because what you have is a hole that didn't get filled.
And you're hoping they will fill it, but they can't.
They can't. They can't.
They really can't. I think at the end of it all, you just have to understand that you don't have to chase connection.
Yeah.
Like, in friendship, in relationship, you will be able to have individuals that are give and take. And you don't have to feel like you are always performing. And we talked about, like, episodes ago about taking off the mask and really being your true self in your friendships, to give the person the opportunity to show up and do different things like that. So,
and you deserve relationships that feel steady, but you also have to be aware that you do have a need that is not balanced.
Yeah.
It's not balanced. And if you're dealing with the anxiety, you constantly need reassurance and you constantly need to be filled, you are dealing with the lack in a relationship, and you need to do the work, right, to fill yourself and to bring yourself to a place of wholeness so that you can show up in a healthy way that's not give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. And maybe they don't have no more to give you.
Right. I love that. I think let's have this week's homework assignment be, we have some resources. We provided a great book earlier, and we're going to have you take the attachment style quiz. So we're going to provide all of the links to all of this in the description box below. And again, utilize these as tools and things to identify characteristics within yourself, but don't make it your identity.
Don't make it your identity or label yourself. But I do feel like we should pray for all of our viewers that's dealing with this. Maybe this is your first time hearing about anxious attachment. But at the root of it, it is fear. And we know, we went over this today, that 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God has not given us that spirit of fear. No. That did not come from God. That the idea that if I'm rejected, if I'm abandoned, that's it for me. That is not from God. So let's pray really quick. Lord, we thank you for this day. I thank you for all of our viewers of Friendship University, all of our friends that may be struggling with this spirit of fear. And we thank you that you have not given them the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. We bind the spirit of fear, and we just break its power over all of our viewers. And we pray right now that they will feel loved, they will feel secure in you, and they will feel powerful, that they will feel mighty, that they will know that they're not in this alone, but you promise to never leave them or forsake them. You promise to be with them always, and that they don't have to feel alone or chase love, but that you are love, and your love is enough. And so we give you praise. We call it done. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Until next class.
Peace.